Hi, what time is it? It's like 25 to 1 on Monday, and I've been doing a lot of fiddling about on the mobile version of Blackbird's site. And one of the things I've found is that the content really has to be stripped down to its absolute bare essentials. For example, I put some of the Blackbird, Lars and Meyer at Blackbird have written a rather nice text about their company and about themselves, which features on the full kind of desktop version of the site. And initially that's the text that you saw this morning actually, when I was showing roughly, the rough thing I'd done so far. And of course that was very texty. And I cut that down to just the stuff about Blackbird. And even that was like one paragraph, and even that was just too much. So what I'm finding with developing a mobile site is first the site I'm optimizing it for 320 pixels in width. Having done some research online, it's kind of, the wild west out there on mobile devices at the moment. The screens are all different sizes, all different widths. Of course the height, they're all different heights, but of course the height is always adjustable because, that's where you scroll. But the widths especially are almost completely different across a lot of devices. And of course on a lot of devices you can flip the screen as well. You can go landscape, and portrait. So of course, trying to make your content adaptable to that too is another consideration when thinking about the width of the site, especially. So I've hopefully managed to kind of bring in a lot of that thinking and make the content on what I'm doing flexible. But I am optimizing it for 320 pixels, which kind of it's the larger size, seems to be the larger size for a lot of mobile devices, but it's the largest size I think is from 320 pixels to 480 pixels. That's kind of the smallest of the larger size devices is 320 pixels, and the largest goes up to even up to 480. So of course I'm pitching this for the smallest screen on the larger size devices. It gets very complicated actually, but I did find a nice kind of chart online which went on about all the different sizes. So my decision is 320 pixels wide is I think is the optimal, and then that kind of takes in the iPhone and Android phones mostly, and then of course you've got the other phones as you tear down from that. So 320 pixels is the decision. And here's what I've been working on. So here is the site so far. I'll just move my ruler out of the way because I'm really having to measure the screen, measure the size of the web page in my browser all the time, because when it gets down to those 320 pixels wide, you're really having to fight for to optimize every single piece of room on the screen. So what changes have I done since this morning? I've kind of redone the logo a little bit better, made it a bit wider so it really fills out the device's screen. I've added a blue highlight on the main menu bar. That isn't linked up to any other pages at the moment, so once it is, I need to really think about how I'm going to indicate which page you're on and how they're active links and stuff like that. Of course on a mobile device you don't really have hover over, so I really have to have a good think about how I'm going to make that, especially the menu bar and other links on the site, obvious as links, and also when you kind of press your finger on them and make a link, and actually go to that link to kind of visually confirm to the user that they've clicked the link and off they go to the next page. I know that's pretty instant and they'll know straight away, but a little visual cue, an on-click cue probably, using JavaScript will I think just add to that a slightly better user experience. As you can see down here, you'll probably see that I've got this nice picture that Lars sent us. This is him out shooting for a video he did for Siemens. It's a really lovely sunset picture, so that's what's going to be on the first page of the mobile site. Here is my solution for really breaking down the text on the front page of the site. I've really just broken it down to a few lines of absolutely essential stuff that really sums up the philosophy of Blackbird. And I've used a nice little piece of JavaScript to kind of do a text slideshow, so to speak. Every 10 seconds it just changes to a different headline. And each one is really some essential words that just sum up Blackbird's philosophy about how they do what they do. So that's really the first page, almost done. I need to do the footer on the page, which will involve some contact details. And then once that's in place, I can start working on the other pages. Going to have a gallery like we do on the main site. I think I'm going to include 6 films in that instead of 12. That will just make it a little bit easier and a little bit quicker to navigate on a mobile device. And I've added specifically a contact page. We don't have a contact page on the main website. The page there is called About Us. And then there's some information about Lars and Maya, and then there's some information about the company, their philosophy, etc., and then some contact details. But I think on a mobile device, there are some extra functions you can add on a contact page. For example, having a phone number. If you click on the phone number, you can make the device actually ring that number. So I'm going to use that function. I think it's a very good function, so I am going to use it. And that to me is a real reason why why I wanted to have a separate contact page. Again, it's all part of this philosophy that I'm really having to put into the site now, really breaking down everything that's on the main desktop site into the absolute essentials. So we've got this first page, which is just a few paragraphs that slideshow in that little JavaScript thing I've written there. That just really sums up the philosophy of Blackbird. And then of course on the gallery page, just 6 films, very and that'll be a very easy to navigate. You just click on a picture and it will play a film. And then of course you've got the contact page, which will literally just be their contact details, where it links to email, links to be able to call them up, and also linking to their online social media presences, which at the moment is Facebook and Twitter. So yeah, it's going well. Actually, I think by the end of the day I'll have this first page really up and running and really going well, and then I can work on the other 2 pages. The gallery is going to be a bit fiddly, I think, to make it work in an intuitive way in this kind of very small interface, but I think I can do it. And that's it really, that's an update. I'm going to have some lunch now, so see you later.